Hi everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, and so this reading is I'm going to dive in get as much information as I can for the USA events for the week right before Christmas, from Sunday, December 19th through Saturday, Christmas Day, December 25th, of course. So anyway, let me drop the camera down. We'll see what's coming up. Okay, so I'm feeling drawn to using the Lenormand. So I'm going to use where's the box? Oh, here we go. Hold on. The Maybe Lenormand by Ryan Edward. It's actually a combo of Lenormand and Gypsy, so we get 52 cards. And because you read them in, multiples, pairs and multiples and all around, rather than doing like 2 cards with the tarot, for each day, I'm going to do 3 rows of 7, and I'll read them in combination with each other to get a general of everything I can get for the week. Okay, so what can we expect to see coming out on the news? What new developments or anything that we need to know as Americans? America! For this week before Christmas. The news dumps certainly have been going crazy like I thought it would. So anyway, okay. There we go. And of course, we'll try and get this timestamp for you. If Hilda doesn't have time, I'll do it for you so that you can fast forward to once the cards are all laid out. Okay, so 21 cards. Okay. So for those of you who are my loyal members, at the lessons level, you might appreciate this a little bit because we're going to do a mini grand tableau, and which could work for any cards. I suppose if you wanted to use with the tarot, I've never done that, but it's like, why not? Rules are the same. Okay, it's 5, 6, 7. Oh, actually, I've got plenty of room. That's right. These cards are actually very small. But so you could do this with Kipper. You could do it with anything. The only thing that I won't be covering here is the house systems, because you only do that when we have, the house is laid out, and then, that's a whole other thing. But that's another lesson that'll be coming up at some point. I've got a lot of astrology lessons in there, but I still need to do the tarot reversals, and I still need to the astrology is going to take me a while because there's so much to look at. But anyway, there's quite a bit in there already, but just I don't have the houses and the signs yet. Okay, so back to the Lenormand. Let's start with the first 3 cards coming out. So this is COVID to me because it's splashing liquid If I had the clouds, I might include that as being part of COVID too, because it's a card of mist. So we're going to still be burdened by COVID. So this is Omicron doing its thing, and we're still dealing with Delta. So, but there will be some success over it, I think, as we move through battling it. And the sun also reveals what new things that we can do in order to stop the spread, maybe battle the spread. Oh, and I have to say, if you guys have this deck and you use it yourself and you're looking at these cards going, my cards don't look like that, please know that I had some spare time one day and decided to color them in. Not all of them, but just the ones that were kind of blah. So, anyway. So, the burden of COVID, so the cross, it's, our cross to bear. This, I used to get this card for Trump all the time, and it taught me that this meant his super spreader events. It's like splashing liquid everywhere. If I had other cards around it that were not as challenging, I would say this could be celebrating, but we need to be careful with this card here. We can read it on different, levels. So this can be being careful about celebrating for the holidays, because this would be a card of drinking. And, it's very celebratory. I think the name of it is Revelry. So we're dealing with being careful about, being under that burden of, if you're going to drink, you're probably going to be seen by the cops and, get stopped, could have a trouble. This could literally be the man, right? But on the COVID level, this is the burden that Biden is under. This is Biden. And this is the shot, Cupid with his bow. This has always been my vaccine card. So, those of us who can be vaccinated, we all really, we should, because there are so many that can't. And all the little ones that can't, or that haven't been able to, and they're finding, I just saw a little news blip before I started that said they're having to reassess another, I think a third shot for the little ones, like the 2 to 5 year. No, it was the 5-year-olds. I think it was the 5-year-olds, because just the 2-shot dose was not. And they're much smaller doses. I think they're half doses for those little guys, but they're needing 3. They're determining that they're needing 3. So this is going to be a lot on the news, of course. I mean, you wouldn't need me or any other intuitive or psychic or card reader to tell you that, because that's, but at least the cards are, confirming. And I didn't set the intention to read past, present, and future like I usually do. I just am reading it as a general, so we have to kind of throw that rule out that I usually do. So now that we've read the first 3, let's go with the 4 corners, because they will kind of frame in. So there's going to be some coming together. And this is not our personal reading. This is USA, right? So our personal reading I'll do next. That'll be a separate thing for our spiritual growth. But for the USA and what we will be dealing with next week, Christmas week, is coming together. We'll see, of course, all the celebratory things on on the news, and this is, of course, another layer besides COVID. But also, we're going to see. I think these are going to be people who are coming in for their, what do you call it, like deposition or interview or whatever, this maybe coming in to honor their subpoena for Trump, for the 1-6 committee, because this is one of my Trump cards. This is that blathering, what am I saying? Bloviating, blathering hot air, what would you call like a covert, not covert, what am I saying? When the ego is like overblown ego. We're going to see on that level, we're going to see some key important people coming together, but there's a celebrating, but then we're also going to see these people coming in, and I don't know if they're going to be, on one level, this is a card of bullying and abuse. On another level, because this is not that kind of card of people pleading the fifth. There is the voice coming out right here. So I think we can read it as, or I can read it on one level as some people actually having the courage to speak up and say, like that couple. What was the guy's name? Dustin something, and then Jennifer Lawrence, but of course not the actress or actor. But this couple that finally clued into the fact that what they had done for Trump was just an awful thing, and now they're talking about it. So I think that they're going to be key witnesses that are coming together to speak about that. That might be one of the things that we can celebrate, because there are going to be some things this week that we can celebrate in addition to this being about COVID. Okay, so now let's look at these. Let's look at what's in the center here first. So we have verbal communications. This, to me, has everything to do, this has to do with the 1/6 insurrection. The sun, so I'm going to read out this way, this card, I'm going to go around in a circle. So there's going to be verbal communications to reveal what actually happened, leading up to and during the whole insurrection. And people are talking because they have information that they've been, I don't know, maybe sitting with, nurturing, trying to figure out what to do about. And now they see that there's connection that needs to be, given voice to, spoken to, because this happened in the past. We should have been protected, but we weren't. This was shocking. And then communications from the public sphere, from, this is our social media card here. The Garden Park card is social media. There's going to be communications that are shocking that come through. This could be, these cards, this is an excellent line here to show everything that happened with the insurrection. And those who were the secrets will be revealed. Those who were the ones who meant to come through. I think they're up to, my goodness, I think it's 700. Oh my goodness, I'm getting mixed numbers here in my head. There was, I think it's 7, you guys set me straight if I'm getting this wrong, but I thought I read that there were 700 people who came in, and because this would be the interview card, right? And on another level, if this isn't Biden, because I'm sure this is Biden in relationship with the COVID, but then this could be, because it's the man, right? So this could be the committee itself, and gathering all that information, all those interviews, because I think they have interviewed 700 people already. Or it might have been that they have, sentenced 700 people. So it's either interviewed or sentenced. And so these are the people. But this card, the Fox card, also is a stand-in for not only for those who were violent, right? Because notice how the Fox Knights, 1 over and 2 up, to this is the insurrection card. This is the battle, okay? And also Knights up here to this card of choice and being at a crossroads. They have to speak out. So there's a lot here. A lot is going to come out. A lot of information is going to come out into the public sphere about the insurrection. We're going to get more and more of those details. And the bloviating, blathering. I just love making up new words. The bloviating, blathering bully, who I call Flump, is going to be seen as having absolute commitment and getting the money in, and key important information is going to show his loyalty to those people who helped him get it done. On another level, this is him. I don't think he's, I don't, of course we know he's not been loyal to Mark Meadows, even though Mark Meadows is the guy who, it's obvious that he's the guy that received all the phone calls. And this could be like phone records that come in quickly from the telecom companies, because these cards here would reveal that. Old text messages, phone calls. This is, on another level, this could be Mark Meadows who received all these. And Flump is not being, he's not being loyal to him at all. He's, in fact, he called him effing stupid. He told him he was effing stupid. Or he said that Mark Meadows is effing stupid. What a jerk, right? Because Mark Meadows has handled all of his communications, because Trump himself does not accept, he doesn't do texting. He had somebody else do all his tweets all the time, except for maybe a few he did off, who knows? Like those, remember the Kofefi and all that? He definitely did those. So he did have interaction on Twitter on his own, that's for sure. But yeah, as far as sending text messages and emails, that's not something that he normally has done. So anyway, this has the 1/6 Insurrection Committee investigation into Flump written all over it, and people coming together. This could speak to people who were actually at the ellipse celebrating with him, and this important information, the key is all about something very, very important, is going to come out, and that would be all the people that committed to him, because he's up here with the, the power, the control over these relationships. And that's going to be seen. That will be seen and revealed, I can tell with these cards here. So that's interesting. Now that's, yeah, for sure. Okay, so what else besides 1/6 investigation? Because I don't have the metal card, or let me see if I can find it. This card here, because I didn't get this card, I don't feel like anything's going to come out yet about the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, lawsuit. But that probably won't be this week. I could be wrong though, because I limited this to just 21 cards. So let's see, let's go around here, this 9 card. So of course I feel this is Biden under the burden of COVID, trying to get people to get vaxxed, and the spread that is a challenge, and You know, when it comes to viruses, this is the success card. When it comes to spreading, this is the card. So I think we're going to be shocked as to how much it does literally spread. You guys, we got to be careful. We really have to be careful. You know, that's what I'm saying. Just, you know, if we can get vaccinated, do it, because there are many who cannot. And once we are vaccinated, we can be asymptomatic carriers, so we still have to mask up like crazy, and not just any stupid cloth mask or those little ones that, you know, are just those 2-ply things. We need the N95 masks, and wear them religiously when you go out or you interact. You know, unless people are coming to your house and you know that they're okay, or you're going to their house and, you know, we really need like a lot of home testing kits. That would be helpful. But anyway, having Biden here and the rose underneath, I think will bring him some success, because we do have success here between these two cards. And I think that there's, on one level, Biden will be able to attract more people to get the vaccination. And then on another level, I think more people will be attracted to him being out on the road trying to kind of like celebrate and support America the best, you know, best he can. I hope that next week they're going to be talking a lot about voting rights, because he's put the Build Back Better bill, you know, on the back burner, which is good, because voting rights needs to be taken care of. But again, I'll have to do a separate reading on that, and I will this next week. But, you know, because the letter card, where is it? There it is. The letter card would be about votes and voting rights, and I don't have that here. So I don't know if we're going to get anything done next week. But, you know, like right here, just to have the birds as a center card, there's going to be a lot of talk about anything that we are battling. Anything that we're battling in the, you know, in our social, well, in our life. This is a card of public interactions, and there's going to be a lot of public interaction to try and bring more peace and to try and bring healing. But then there's this shocking news too that's going to be coming out too. Okay, let's move over here to this third 9-box spread. So the fish has to do with money. It has to do with transactions. It has to do with the flow of money. Or it can also just mean a lot. So on one level, with these two cards up here, I see things being a little bit better with the supply chain demand situation, you know? And that's because we have the crossroads has to do with travel, but it's on the land. And to have the fish here, this tells me that there's going to be a lot. Maybe this is, you know, a lot of us traveling to see people. Those of us who are courageous enough to go out and visit relatives, because this is like, you know, the older relatives card. And this is definitely a card of nurturing and, you know, home, hearth, sitting around the fire, right? So this is actually good. And even though I didn't set the intention for it to be past, present, and future, this is later in the week that we would have, you know, Christmas Day, of course. And this coming together, there will be a lot of coming together in very peaceful ways. And sitting around the fire and traveling, of course. So I think there's just going to be a lot of that on TV, because we have these cards knighting. This would be, you know, TV and the news. And this would be Biden. So there's going to be a lot of celebrating, a lot of seeing those things. And I like having the lilies here because it is, it's a peaceful card. But because the lilies is up here on top of the fox, the anything that's wrong is going to be revealed. So and that's coming out on the news. And there's loyal, there are loyal people who are, nurturing the information that needs to come out to protect us against these kinds of people. But then again, on another level, it's the courage of those who are loyal and helpful. The dog is a card of being very, very helpful and protective. So there can be protection against the things that are wrong in society, and there will be some important news about that. So I like seeing that. That's excellent. Let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, okay, that's there. So I've covered that. No, I mean, I think looks prosperous and happy towards the end of the week. I feel like as Americans, we're dealing with things the best we can, considering the tremendous burden we're under, with COVID and with the past. But I see, revelation coming through. Like this will shine the light. The Sun card will shine the light on what we've been, well, I don't know how much we've been wondering about it because we've known that Trump has been guilty all this time. But to have things actually come out, it's going to shock some people, and for the rest of us, it'll be kind of peaceful knowing that, yeah, we knew that, now it's finally out, right? And Mr. Flump is going to be at a crossroads trying to figure out, like, okay, where do I go from here? Because, this can be, well, I should probably wait until I do his reading on his January reading, but, Liz Cheney's coming after him for his felonious behavior. It's possible he could wind up. I haven't gotten that before with any of the cards, except for when I was looking at how it would affect him in the January 6th insurrection committee. Once Nancy Pelosi decided to do the committee, I did a reading right after that. I think the next day to see, and that was before Liz Cheney was appointed. And I think in the tarot portion there was, I think the Queen of Wands came through. That was her, but I could be wrong about that. But towards the end of the reading, about, I think it was 16 minutes in, I posted it in the community section if you want to see it. You don't even have to search for it. Just go to my community section and it'll be, the link will be there. And you can even click on the, once you click on the video, if you go to the first comment, I pinned it, and you can click on that 16-minute mark, and it'll take you like right to that Kipper portion that I read. And with that one, it did show him going to jail. He had the imprisonment card, so this could get him. But otherwise, I hadn't seen him going, through. I hadn't seen him. No cards had ever come through to show that he had been. That he would be going to prison. But anyway, so I think I want to look at, let me use this other deck here, and I'll just look generally using the tarot, because there seemed to be an awful lot of focus here on January 6th with this. So let's see if there's anything else. I'm using this deck here. It's really odd. It's the weirdest tarot deck I've ever owned, but it came from Russia. Thought it came from Italy. That's where I was I wanted to get another deck that's like my Golden Dreams Lenormand, because it just shuffles like a dream. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, and just they slide really nice. So I went to their website. This deck is it's not too bad, but it's almost as easy to shuffle. But anyway, that first deck I bought on Amazon, this one, I ordered it from their website, came from Russia. And it's so weird. I had to write on the cards, you'll see when I turn them over. I had to write on the cards which in the minor arcana, which was which, because it didn't make sense to me. But it is proving to be pretty good for political readings. So with this, I think I will do, let's do 14 cards. I'll do 2 rows of 7. Let's see, what else? What else can this deck reveal as to what we will see and what we need to know for this next week? Oops. Yeah, I think I'll barely be able to fit. I'll make it work. Okay. So I'm not doing like the days of the week or anything, just a whole general. And let's see if we can do some knighting, some fun stuff. One more row, and I'm really going to have to scrunch them in. Or, I'm sorry, I should say one more column. Yeah, I forget, these cards are really wide. Or actually, yeah, hold on. I'll just lift the tripod up a bit. Hold on. Okay, there. I got them all framed up too. Okay, so let me sink into these for a moment. So rather than going, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I want to just kind of read the theme here. I think this is our supply chain demand, and this is our decisions as to what to spend our money spend our money on. See what I'm saying about the weird? I mean, this is the Ace of Swords, but obviously this is about money. So, I mean, in Russia, they probably think a lot about money all the time. We do here too, right? I can't fault anybody for that. But with the Ten of Wands here, this is maybe we're feeling a little overwhelmed because of inflation, of course. That's what I'm seeing there. And yeah, and then, right on, because Ace of Pentacles here, financial stability is an issue. And because it knights down here to this Ten of Wands, yes, that is something that we are concerned about. And then because the Five of Cups up here, which is usually about grief and loss and, maybe feeling disappointed at the least, that's up here that is stressful too. So I think these two, even though this isn't our personal, reading for the whole, for the, like our spiritual growth reading that I will do next, it's coming in here that this is a hard time, The holidays it's a hard time for people who have lost loved ones. And, you know, we're at that 800,000 mark of losing, you know, loved ones to COVID, on top of the fact that, you know, with or without COVID, we do lose people, especially the older we get, the more we witness, you know, the more we lose friends and loved ones. So that's, you know, that's there. I can see that. But with the Temperance card, and especially with, you know, this would be the Justice card, but with Temperance and Justice together, that's actually really beautiful. Now, of course, we've got like the angel and the devil here, right? So that's interesting. I'm going to read this as that we will be seeing some justice come through, and it will help us to balance out, because that came through in the Lenormand as well. So this is reiterating that same thing, is that it will actually be healing for us to see something this week that will help us heal from what we've been through the last, you know, it's been challenging. I mean, it was 5 years of trauma with Trump, at least for me, because as soon as he started running in 2015, I'm like, oh my goodness. You know, you had to see him on the news. It was just awful. And then 4 years with him, and this whole insurrection thing, we're almost at the 1 year mark with that. It's just crazy. So, but I do feel there's going to be some balancing out. This to me looks like, let me bring it up closer. It looks to me like the angel here is saying, time's up, dude. We're done. You know, time's up. And you know, he's like, but wait, you know, still trying to seduce. And she's like, no, time's up. It's crazy. Now, this is really funny. Look on the bottom of that tag. Does that look like a little Christmas tree to you? I think it's a Christmas tree. I think she's, oh yeah. Oh, sorry, you guys, I didn't notice that before. She's opening up a present, and it's coming from the devil. And she has to decide, it's coming from some dark place, and she has to decide, does she want it? Does she want to take it in? But on another level, I read it as like, because I look at her eyeballs, and it's like, what? You know. And of course, you know, here on Earth, we are bound by this time-space continuum, but maybe I should read this as it's an alarm clock, and it's kind of alarming, and, you know, we do need to balance out. I mean, obviously this card, they're trying to tell us it's about balancing out the light and the dark within. Yeah. Balancing out the light and the dark within, and then being self-responsible will always be what brings in all the good stuff from the Justice card. You know, but this card is about truth. It's about bringing truth and getting the clarity that we've been looking for, and it's also about karma. So I feel like, you know, there's some balancing out of karma for these people from the past, like I was talking about before. Now, again, with the Five of Cups up here to the Ten of Cups, there is some grief over losing family members, and there is some grief over maybe relationship issues from the past. Or there's some disappointment, and some people will be feeling lonely because they don't have that relationship anymore. This, being the Three of Wands, has to do with progress. And it looks like the guidance there is that we do have strength. We will see progress and stamina in the Department of Strength. You know, this is our Strength card. But we do have to weigh those decisions as to what we're going to spend our money on, because we do have inflation, you know, that's happening, but it has nothing to do with, you know, the whole Build Back Better or any of the other. It has to do with this supply chain issue. So anyway, man, look at that. It's a Two of Swords, but look at what the heck is going on there. It's like a battle in your mind, right? So we're going to see that, we're going to see part of it's going to be that, that denial. There's some denial that's going on. And then with the Five of Wands, some struggle. And it does have to do with inflation. And it does have to do with the growth that we want to see right away. But, maybe we could do a whole lot more with a whole lot less. Yeah, isn't this interesting? So we see the emotional issues that always come through with the holidays. But we do have strength here in the center. I like that. But then we do have, all these money issues. These images are hysterical. Okay, so, but we also have, with the Ace of Pentacles, this is not bad. We've got the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, we're juggling. But you know what? We're getting our priorities straight. We are getting our priorities straight. And the Knight of Pentacles, it's funny, they call it the lover card. He's showing up with these gifts, and she's like, hey man, you're early. Since when is the Knight of Pentacles ever early? He's the guy that just kind of plods along slowly. But he's bearing gifts. It looks like a good card, right? Makes me wonder I can't even remember what the actual lover's card looks like. That's okay. I won't bore you with going through all that. But then this one right here, look at that. So the Ace of Cups, so there's contentment there. Is it, why? Because what's in the fridge? I can relate. Oh my God, you guys. I'm done. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, it knights up here to this Two of Swords. So this kind of tells me that it's like what I just said a minute ago. I think this week is about being very grateful for what we have and, getting more out of a lot less, right? Because if all we have is food in the fridge and a nice home, and she's even got her kitty up here, right? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And if we have even just one friend, even if it's just one friend who loves us, that we feel safe opening the door looking like that, then how about it's just, we struggle, just struggle to keep our hearts open and stop worrying so much about money, but then also just, get your priorities straight, all right? So the gifts don't have to be as lavish, but definitely for the loved ones. But I love seeing the Strength card here and progress, growth. But those decisions, maybe it's about making that decision just to not stress out. Because the more we worry, the more we have reason to worry, the more we go into feeling that we don't have enough, the more we have that same thing, not enough, right? Because you can't create abundance from lack. You create abundance from abundance. But that doesn't mean that, you have to be frivolous either. It's always about that balance and being self-responsible for, what we're creating in our lives. With dealing with what is, because, none of these awful things that we're going through with COVID, none of those things are our fault. It's, well, unless it does go back to just being part of that. No, I'm not even going to say that. That just doesn't make sense. No. It's part of being human. Being human is messy. Being human is challenging. And it's really, really important not to take it personally when things don't go right. As long as you're not in a warring type of terrorizing mentality, you don't have any connection to all that that's going on in the world. Just because we're witnessing the terrible things that happen doesn't mean that we have any creation, around that, or any karma around that. What we do have is the fact that we're human and we're living on a planet which is an equal opportunity experience in order to heal. So just focus on your life and what you need to heal in your soul. Love yourself through it. Love your loved ones through what they're going through. And don't take it personally. Doesn't mean it's not hard to see. Or hear or watch, and there's only so much you can handle watching, right? On TV, on the news. So, yeah, okay. Well, I don't have anything else to say. Thanks, you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Be back next week. Bye.